Welcome back, viewers. It's episode 3 of NFL Web TV. I'm Samuel Zito. I'll be hosting the show tonight. I'm joined by John Seaton, our now famous matchday commentator. Fantastic job he did on the weekend, calling all the action.
You are too kind.
Seats, glad to be back in the desk.
Mate, great to be back here. Great first round in the NFL, off to a bit of a flyer. And I'm just looking forward to getting into some of the results and then obviously previewing next week's games.
Most definitely. And viewers, of course, you've had Jared Carey in the host seat the past 2 weeks. Jared is actually sick today. He's been in bed a bit crook the past 2 days, actually. So we wish you well, Jared. Get well soon, and we want to see you back here next Tuesday.
You are hopeless, JC. Hopeless.
You beauty. So, of course, Saturday was the season launch for the NFL. We had matches across all divisions. We had the youth girls playing as well. Division 3 seats. What caught your eye in Division 3? What were the results?
I think Penton Hill with a real packet in Division 3.
Most definitely.
With a positive 50-point win over Watsonia, playing away to Watsonia, and just a strong win for the first game of the year is just off to a great start.
Well, they did cause probably the biggest point of the round, because they did kick 10 goals in that second term, 10 goals to nil to pretty much. They set up that win in that second quarter. Wind was blowing quite strongly at all rounds, but to still kick 10 goals to 0 was probably the highlight of the round for mine. Yeah,
spot on Zito. The thing is as well, kicking 20 goals, you're going to win more games than you lose. 28 scoring shots and to bang through 20 is just spot on. You kick straight, you win games.
Most definitely. Well, out at St Mary's versus South Morang, we had a bit of a nail biter there. St Mary's getting up by the 5 points. It was a pretty closely fought contest and probably the game of the round in Division 3.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Like you said, 5 points in it. South Morang, they just got up by 5 points and they kicked 14 behind, so it comes
down
back.
There, South Morang, is that correct? I think.
What's that?
South Morang was down by 5 points rather than up.
Oh no, they won. South Morang. Who won?
St Mary's got up there. There you go.
I must have got this off JC.
Doing his information, doing his research here. Lucky we're all staying tuned into that. And also we had Reservoir getting up quite comfortably over Heidelberg West. Probably no surprises there.
Yeah, no surprises at all, mate. But harking on about St Mary's, mate, kicking 8 goals 14. Kick those kind of scores and obviously not going to win many matches.
No, well that's the case. So, but I'm sure they'll be alright for next week. We also go into Division 2 just right now. It's some more interesting results. First up, we'll talk about Hurstbridge and Mernday. It was Hurstbridge by 14 points in that one. Pretty close all day. High scoring game. It's what the fans want to see. It's a good contest. Yeah, spot on there, Sammy. Look, you got 31 scoring shots against 32. Just an absolute shootout. 19 goals, 12 Hurstbridge were, and what a way to start in Division 2 after being promoted. Well, yeah, it was a good day for the club. They unfurled the flag and you've got a win on the board, so it's a memorable day for not only the players but the supporters there for the match. Yeah, spot on, mate. And obviously you get off to a big start. Grimes banging home 5, Salvatore 4. A countless amount of multiple goal scorers. It was a strong showing for their first game in Division 2. Most definitely. Another team that had a strong showing in round 1 was Diamond Creek, who I actually thought that I tipped Fitzroy Stars in my tip, but it was Diamond Creek to the tune of 60-odd points. Andrew Lovett was down at Fitzroy Stars. That was probably the talking point that most media outlets were getting onto, but he was kept quiet, and Diamond Creek just showed they could be one of the teams to beat in Division 2 over 2011. But they didn't just beat Fitzroy Stars. I mean, they've absolutely walloped them by 66 points. A comfortable win there. Look, I was all the rave about Fitzroy. I thought the midfield they had was good to be was good enough to be competitive. But look, Diamond Creek have just gone up. They've gone bang and have said that we're the team to beat for 2011. There we go. And Layla and Epping played another close game as well. And we'll actually be down watching Epping this week when we get down to our commentary match of the day. But that was a pretty good game. Probably one we're probably spooning this because that was quite closely contested. In the end, Layla got up by just over 4 goals. But from the sounds of that one, it was close all day, and they were probably just the stronger side in the final couple of quarters. Yeah, I think so, mate. Layla, obviously going down from, disappointingly going down from Division 1 last year. Looking to obviously get off to a great start, which they have. But 20 goals 14, I think it's a comfortable win. As close as it may seem, a pretty comfortable win from Laylaw. And Lowell Plenty as well got over the top of Thomastown. That one was actually pretty close to contested from all the reports we're getting in. In the end, again, Lowell Plenty probably just the stronger side. What we all expected to probably happen in round 1. Yeah, that's it, mate. Look, comfortable win there from Lowell Plenty, and I know Jared's a big fan of them and thinks they can go a long way. Well, he did last week. He was the one who tipped them to go all the way in Division 2, so it's good to see his side started well early. I think also when they do play that home ground, a little bit smaller, and it just suits them down to a T. Oh, most definitely. They're there every night training, and I guess home ground advantage is probably what it's all about in round 1 when you've been there all pre-season. Yeah, exactly, mate. Of course, we were out at Match of the Day in Division 1. on Saturday. It was West Preston versus Bundoora. West Preston unveiled their flag, their 2010 Premiership flag. Of course, Simon Goodwin and Simon Prestigiacomo lined up for the Roosters on Saturday. Still was enough to get the job done.
No, one thing that surprised me was we looked for the matchups in the first bounce. We all probably expected maybe Presti to go on Cloak, but to see the big strapping young lad of Simon Goodwin line up on Cameron Cloak was very surprising.
Yeah, well, I guess everyone, from what you've seen of Goodwin at AFL level, he's more of a running back rather than someone who stands the tall forwards.
He would have given away, well, who knows how many centimetres and also kilograms to the big Cloaky. But just surprising that Vin Tola is looking to put him down back, perhaps against the wind. It was more of a defensive thing than anything else.
Perhaps his experience they were trying to count on, but of course it didn't work. Bundoora got out the block 6-0 in the first quarter, set up the win. West Preston did bring the margin back to 8 points during the third term, but after that it was all Bundoora. The rain set in and they were comfortable winners in the end. Yeah,
I think like we spoke about, big Paul Harrison banging home 7 goals.
He was good, and he was good when it counted as well.
Yeah, exactly. Robertson probably was the person that kept West Preston in it, kicking his 6, but Paul Harrison's 7 was just an imposing display from the big man.
And now another result that would get you excited.
Yes.
Northcote Park getting over Eltham, 5.5 goals. Good way to start the season, pardon me.
Yeah, mate, better not stand up. I'm a little bit excited about the Northcote boys this year.
Tables rising a bit.
Yes. No, great game from Northcote Park. We all know last year that Eltham knocked them off to make the finals at that same ground.
Indeed.
Northcote, the game was chewing and throwing up until 3/4 time, and I think in the last quarter, Northcote just had the goods and went away with the win.
Sartzard kicking 5 there as well.
Yeah, Sartzard kicked 5, but I think it was also a defensive display of big Simple Andrews down back who kept Mark Keenan to 0 goals. Now this is a guy in the last 4 years, I think he's kicked about 370 over his last. He's played at Yarrawonga, he's played at Spotswood and kicks goals. And for big Simon Andrews to keep him goalless, I think was a great display.
Indeed, and probably the match of the round in terms of Division 1 action was at Montmorency. It was Montmorency and Heidelberg. Two teams who we expect to do very well this year, Heidelberg being the favourites. They've got their old boys back again. Josh Houlihan's back down there. A few other big names. Heidelberg just got over the top, 21 points. It was a close game.
Mate, it was a close game. And you just know that when you play at Montmorency, you're in for a thriller. You're in for a tough game.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, Heidelberg just had the class to shine through. They've got the experience, and big Saul Caddy kicking 4 goals as well probably helped them over the line.
Well, I say game of the round for the last one. Perhaps the next one actually may have been. It was a 1-point thriller. It was Whittlesea over McLeod. Whittlesea unfurling their flag, coming from 6 goals down at 3/4 time to record their first win in Division 1.
For me, Zeets, this is the highlight of the round. Forget about Northcote, forget about Heidelberg coming from behind. This is just sensational. A club that's, we all know what Whittlesea have gone through in the last 2 years. To come up to Division 1, come from behind victory and they've unfurled their flag, it's just absolutely fantastic.
I'd love to actually check the record books to see what the greatest deficit at 3/4 time to be overturned is, because 37 points would probably be just about on the mark. On the money, I reckon.
It's just fascinating. Big, Cathal called to kick home 5 goals. Perhaps we know he's a midfielder, but maybe his role has changed. He might be seeing a bit of time in the forward line. He's just ominous.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get the tape out and have a look at that one. And also the final round. And to round off all of our review is Greensboro and North Heidelberg. Pretty one-sided. North Heidelberg, of course, missing Shane Harvey and the like, about 5 established senior players out of the lineup. They won't be that uncompetitive all year. I actually expect them to do quite well, but of course, probably with the side they had out there on the weekend, probably a good indication of where they're at. Yeah,
I wouldn't look into this result too much. Like you said, you're missing Shane Harvey, one of the top 3 players in the league. Big Billy McClintock as well, and a few of the other senior players that are missing. Travelling away to Greensboro, we know Greensboro have recruited well as well. Don't look too much into it. North Heidelberg, I think they'll be that 6th, 7th, maybe pushing for that 5th spot. But they'll be competitive. But yeah, just disregard that game altogether.
Most definitely. Of course, juniors also kicked off, and youth girls, as we mentioned before. Go online at www.nfl.org.au to check out all the results there. A couple of good games. Youth girls I hear was pretty exciting on Saturday morning. I heard there's a bit of talent on display. So if you want to get down to your local ground, Barling Reserve every Saturday morning, check it out and support the girls. We'll be back after the break. Alright, so we've got Bundoora versus Eltham in Division 1. For mine, Bundoora, extremely impressive last week. I think they're actually better than what I expected them to be. They were just that level above. You bring in the likes of Braden Shaw into the midfield, winning every ball pretty much in vicinity. You bring in young kids like Jack Biankin, who was actually asked a question from his coach at Lift last week. He got the job done in the last quarter. I think they'll be just too strong this week.
No surprises from me. Their win against West Preston. 1, I tipped them, and 2, I also put them inside my top 3. They've been a very competitive club for a long time, and they need success, and they're after it in this year. And that performance against West Preston shows that they're going to be a player this year. No, there's no doubt about that. They will be a player in this year's finals. You speak about you spoke about Bianchin, the young fella, big cloak up forward as well. There's talk the likes of Paul Harrison when he hits his form. The ball-winning capabilities of David Farrelly and also, Michael Farrelly and David Mitchell. And then down back, just the lock of Benny Shelton and Neil Glary. It's
even across the board, isn't it?
It's a very good-looking spine. And we're talking about Heidelberg and Montmorency. Bandura are a player this season. Huge player.
Well, yeah, we'll keep that in mind as we go throughout for the course of the season. We've got North Heidelberg up next, and they're playing Whittlesea this week. I'm going to go for North Heidelberg to bounce back. I think with Shane Harvey into the lineup, it looks a lot better automatically for North Heidelberg. I think at home they might bounce back strongly after a shocking loss.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. They've got a lot of ins. You talk about Shane Harvey, and that's probably all you have to say, really. Whittlesea, I think they're a young, quick side, and they'll benefit from last week's win enormously. North Heidelberg for mine at the Kennel. It is a bigger ground, so it would be interesting to see how Whittlesea do go there. But yeah, North Heidelberg by 4 goals.
It's a fair tip. And now your boys, Northcote Park, up against Montmorency. Probably the game of Division 1 this week. 2 informed teams. I know Montmorency had the loss last week, but they put in a good showing against Heidelberg. What are your predictions? I might steal your tip.
The first game at Westgarth Street, I think this is going to be an absolute cracker. So if you're not doing anything, yes, get the end of the match of the round, Epping versus Lower Plenty. But this game here is going to be a blind. It's a shame that I'm going back to Albury. Montmorency, disappointing loss against Heidelberg when they're in a winning position. Northcote Park, strong win against Eltham. I think the boys, the Cougars back home at Westgarth, I think have got what it takes to beat Montmorency. They're fit. I think the group's been together for some time now, and the players we've topped up in Bronick Davies, the Cracker boys, I think we're just looking pretty good at the moment.
Well, you've convinced me. I think I'll go for Northcote Park just on the back of that seats. We've got McLeod up against West Preston in our next game. I think for mine, West Preston to bounce back. Disappointing loss. They do lose Simon Goodwin this week, who's actually coaching at Essendon, who played Carlton on the Saturday afternoon. It's a big loss, but as you've mentioned, that he wasn't the best player necessarily last week. He was good without being their best. I think they can still cover Goodwin this week and get over the top.
Yeah, he was good. He didn't blow us away, but just was good. Presti was a person I kept an eye on. He didn't blow me away. He wasn't one that struck out. Yeah, so perhaps Vin might want a little bit more from his star recruit. Not sure if Rock is playing, so if he does play, that'll make a big difference. Of course, massive presence at centre half forward. Look, that'd be bitterly disappointing. I know Vinda Tolley would be an angry man with the performance, especially in that last quarter, regardless of the wind or not. And obviously, travelling to McLeod, it will be tough, but they should really win this game and probably would like at least a 6-7 goal win. I think
there's enough stars on their list to get them over the line. And the final game of the round before Easter is Heidelberg up against Greensborough. Hard to go past Heidelberg. They played a good team, Montmorency, last week. Away, still got the win. I think they're going to be even harder to beat at home. They're probably my lock.
Yeah, look, I think the last time Heidelberg lost was actually to Greensborough. So it's funny they're travelling off to Warringal Park, where a ground where I'd love to know the stat, but very rarely do Heidelberg lose. And I could see them. I think Greensborough will be competitive up until half time, but Heidelberg got the class just to take it easy and take the win. That's
the way, Steve. Well, thanks for going through the tips with me. I hope you guys do well in your tips as well this week, and to everyone playing, best of luck. We'll also say Happy Easter to all viewers out there. Of course, we won't probably be next week because we don't have any matches, so get down to your local grounds this week. Anything you want to add before we go, Steve?
Your big call today was Harvey to kick 10. Probably not a big call because he's probably good for it. My big call is to say Bandura will win the first 5 matches.
There we go.
I think from what I saw from the first game,
on the bandwagon.
From what I saw from the first game, they were just incredibly impressive. They played West Preston, knocked them off. Eltham next game, then Heidelberg. I think they can beat Heidelberg, and then McLeod, North Heidelberg. So if they get past Heidelberg, I could see them winning 5 in a row and really set themselves up for a finals berth come August, September.
Well, he's not afraid to make the big calls. His seats. Make sure you're back in 2 Thursdays' time to keep watching. Of course, go to www.nfl.org.au for all your results and all your Northern Football League news. Also, official Northern Football League on Facebook. We'll see you again soon.
Take care. Cheers.